What's up guys, Pat here, and I just wanted to give you guys a quick rundown on my thoughts of Battlefield 2042 and the beta. If you haven't subbed yet, I would appreciate if you could give that button a smack because it really helps me grow. So if you didn't know, the Battlefield 2042 beta was last week and it ended on Sunday. There wasn't a crazy amount of content in the beta, we only got one game mode and one map, but we did get to see a little bit of everything and we got to see a lot of what Conquest had to offer. First of all, let's get into the gun customization. The new gun customization system is insane. It's fluid and versatile. Imagine you're in a close quarters situation, you clean up the fight, but now you're being pinned from 200 meters. You can just hold T and swap that bad boy red dot out for a nice 3 or 4x ACOG mid-combat. Battlefield 2042 is the only game I can think of that allows this, and in my opinion it changes the game for infantry, making it way more interesting and fun. Next up we have the movement. Now I've seen a lot of people complaining on Reddit and stuff about the movement being too fast, too fluid and not right for a Battlefield game. Now for me, I don't see how that computes. For me this new movement is perfect. I've got news for those people against the new movement. These are essential movement mechanics in a modern FPS. No one wants to run across a map as big as Orbital without some movement technique to make it faster, more interesting and fun. Especially in these days when we have games like Apex. It makes combat more skill based because when an enemy gets to drop on you, you can outplay them with the movement. It also gives infantry a chance to outmaneuver vehicles when they're dominating the map. I don't see what the downside is. More people want drawbacks and things like that. I think leave it how it is. With that, let's segue over to the vehicles. Yes, jets were horrid in my experience, and helis aren't quite as snappy as they were before, but that doesn't mean that they're bad. In the right hands, jets still dominate the air, and the slightly less responsive Apache is compensated by the fast and agile Nightbird. Despite the slight changes and damage nerfs, helicopters still feel good to fly and rewarding when you hit massive kill counts. You'll catch me most of the time in a helicopter as I attempt to graduate from flight school. Having said all this, I do believe if helicopters are not going to receive a slight buff, then anti-air needs to be nerfed because the range and sheer number of anti-air missiles that you have to dodge is just crazy at the moment. I think the tank and the anti-aircraft are in a good spot at the moment. You'll hear me talking that anti-aircraft missiles need a nerf. I don't think that's the case for the anti-aircraft vehicle as that's its whole role, but otherwise I feel like they're in a good spot right now. I must say though, I'm not a big fan of driving the AA gun. It just feels a bit clumsy. One peeve I have with the tanks as well though is the jankiness of aiming as a secondary gunner. I wish they would have given us 2 maps to play, as Orbital on repeat did get old. The map is good, but there's a lot of uninteresting areas and a lot of terrain that's sort of bare and just a bit of a foresty type thing. I also think that each class should get its signature tool, like the medic, the med pack, the engineer, the repair tool, the support, the ammo pack, without having to sacrifice an equipment slot. The weather system in Battlefield 2042, at least from the beta, was fucking amazing. It was game changing. It would even affect your visibility in helicopters on the ground, lightning bolts flying around that could hit people and hurt people, the tornado sucking people up and flying around in the tornado fighting people, flying your helicopter in the tornado and having it take over your systems, getting a car picked up by the tornado. That is amazing, and it brings me back to the Battlefield 4 days where we had the dynamic maps and you could blow up something or do something very impactful to the map. The biggest example that comes to mind is obviously the Shanghai skyscraper. I actually enjoyed the addition of specialists. I know a lot of people didn't, but I'll have to see what they do with this and their perks in the future with the final game before I make a judgment. For me, my favourite was the stim pistol, but I know a lot of people were into the grappling hook and then a lot of other people found the grappling hook OP. I don't think so. Another peeve I had as an old Battlefield player was that the beta didn't include visible capture zones around the flags or your teammate's point of view when in the deploy screen like Battlefield 4 had, but I really hope that these things are included in the final build. Yes, the beta had a few bugs, and I think people have been a bit too harsh on that, forgetting that it was a beta. I even maybe got to look into some of the dev stuff, I'm not sure, but we saw some characters in the character list that definitely aren't selectable. There was other bugs as well, but it wasn't terrible considering it was a beta. Overall, I fell in love with Battlefield 2042 during this beta, and I cannot wait for launch. I hope you guys are keen as well. I know a lot of people have doubts and stuff, but I hope you guys are as keen as me. Comment down below anything I missed or your opinions on anything I said. If all goes according to plan, I'll be streaming Battlefield 2042 every day after launch on Twitch. So if you want to catch me, then click the link I'm about to put up and make sure to follow. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Ciao. Oh,
He landed on it.
yeah,
C4 us. That was cool.
parachuted.